solid as a rock, rooted like a tree. I am here, standing strong in my rightful place. Solid as a rock, rooted like a tree. I am here, standing strong in my rightful place. In my rightful place. Everyone, in my rightful place.
Here on the unceded homelands of the sovereign Cossack and Abenaki people, we gather in humble respect and abundant gratitude that we may celebrate this precious living world together. We offer respect to the elders, both past and present. In this same spirit, we will respect, protect, and be good stewards of this land for as long as we walk upon it. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Tom Shurston, and I am your worship associate this morning. My pronouns are he and him. Reverend Joan, Danya, and Caitlin met on Wednesday morning with the worship team to plan this service, but all three of them are attending other activities this morning. So on behalf of the entire worship team, both present and not present, I'm delighted to welcome all of you, those of you here in the sanctuary and those of you watching the live stream. Thank you for joining us in this time of worship. We deeply appreciate your presence and fellowship as part of our beloved Unitarian Church of Montpelier. Today we welcome Reverend Fred Small, who for nearly 2 decades was Minister for Climate Justice at Boston's UU Arlington Street Church. Reverend Small is also a singer-songwriter, an environmental lawyer, and author of the children's book that we will hear about during the Time for All Ages. In 2015, he left parish ministry to devote his energies to organizing for environmental, racial, and social justice. Since 1864, this Unitarian Universalist congregation has been a sanctuary for those seeking spiritual sustenance, as well as peace and justice in the world. Now, with the complexities of today's world, the solace we share at UCM helps us remain grounded in a peaceful spirit to honor our commitments to justice with integrity. Today, we are continuing on this crucial path of connection in a time of uncertainty and upheaval. Please know that we have hearing assist devices and child fidget bags available at the rear of the sanctuary. Also, please know that you can listen to and watch the service in the fireplace room should you need to leave for any reason. If you have a personal concern, challenge, or a loss that calls for our love, support, and prayers as a spiritual community, we will have a member of our lay pastoral care ministry team available here in the sanctuary after the service if you would like to share more deeply. This morning, our lay pastoral caregiver is Dawn Evans. Thank you, Dawn. It's always a pleasure to have newcomers and guests join us for worship. If this is your first or second time visiting and you wish to do so, you're invited to stand or wave your hand so we might offer you a special welcome. Whoa. Thank you. We are glad you are here. Any who are newcomers to our congregation and worship services are encouraged to join us for coffee hour immediately following the service so we can offer you a more personal welcome. Also, you're encouraged to fill out the welcome form so we can connect with you outside of our service. Again, a warm welcome to each and every one of you. I invite you now to turn to your neighbors from your seats here in the sanctuary and offer one another your greetings. Thank you for sharing these warm feelings, these warm greetings, and you're invited to continue your conversations after the service during coffee hour. And now let's take a deep breath, make sure our cell phones are silenced, and enter more deeply into our time of worship with the prelude.
Light within all light, soul behind all souls, at the break of dawn, at the coming of day, we wait and watch. Your light within the morning light, your soul within the human soul, your presence beckoning to us from the heart of life. In the dawning of this day, let us know fresh shinings in our soul, in the growing colors of new beginning all around us. Let us know the first lights of our heart. Great star of the morning, inner flame of the universe, let us be a color in this new dawning. Bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, days a breaking in my soul. That's your part. Please rise in body or in spirit. Bright morning star arising. This began as a beautiful, kind of sleepy Appalachian hymn. It's actually in our hymnal, but this is a different version, so don't bother opening your hymnals. Bright morning stars arise. You all know it. Well, this is different. So, Court Dorsey took this hymn to the nuclear power protests at Seabrook back in the day, and he kicked it up a notch. He lopped the S off, the word star. Became Bright Morning Star Arising, actually the name of a wonderful band that some of you might have heard with Charlie King and others. Bright Morning Star Arising, days of breaking in my soul. And I added some verses because I'm a folk singer and that's what we do. Give it a try. Bright morning star rising, days a breaking in my soul. There are the lyrics in case I forget. Bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, days a breaking in my soul. Same tune for justice and compassion. For justice and compassion, for justice and compassion, for justice and compassion. Days are breaking in my soul. There's some wonderful harmonies to be found in this song. I love what Pete Seeger used to say about harmony. He said, don't be afraid of harmony. Harmony is any note that your neighbor isn't singing. For peace in every nation. For peace in every nation, for peace in every nation, for peace in every nation. Days are breaking in my soul for the healing of creation, for the healing of creation, for the healing of creation, for the healing of creation. Days are breaking in my soul for the future of our children. For the future of our children, for the future of our children, for the future of our children. Days are breaking in my soul. Last time, bright morning star. Bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising. Days are breaking in my soul. Beautiful singing.
Let us now light the chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. As I light the chalice, I invite you to light a chalice at home if you have one nearby. We light this flame, an enduring symbol of our collective commitment to lead with truth and compassion. Please join now in saying our congregational covenant printed in the order of service. We covenant to speak honestly and listen deeply to each other and the voice within. Treat each other with compassion and honor our differences. Take responsibility for the impact of our words, actions, and inactions have on each other. Support each other in times of need and of grief, and celebrate the beauty in our lives. Honor the gifts of the past and be gentle with each other as we grow. Encourage each other in the brave work of creating a more beloved community and a healthy, sustainable world, and forgive each other and start again.
I invite the children to come forward for the time for all ages and anyone else feeling particularly young at heart this morning. Good morning. Nice to see you all this morning. So sometimes the time for all ages is a story. Sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes it's a song. And guess what? This morning, it's a song. We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. Some of you can see the slides, and if you can't see them, you might want to get where you can. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. That's the chorus. It's a little more complicated than Bright Morning Star, but I will feed you the words in between, and maybe you can pick it up. So let's try it. You can be anybody you want to be. You can be anybody you want to. You can love. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country. You can travel anywhere your heart leads, where your heart, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can live by, you can gather friends, or you can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Some children grow up strong and bold, while some are quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some take it slow, some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some leave every label behind. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible you'll find. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. The love you leave behind when you're done. Thank you for singing with me. Tom.
Today, our spiritual exploration program for children and youth will have a Wonder and Explore Day. Our children's chapel group, pre-K to grade 4, will be exploring through a choice of multiple activity stations how trees stay calm and strong even when the wind blows. While our middle school youth group will begin planning their first service project of the year, trash tramping. They'll work out the logistics of helping to take care of our local community, as well as to explore how it relates to our shared UU values. And now a few important details. When we sing Everyone Out, children in pre-K and grade 4 will exit through the front of the sanctuary, and the middle school youth group will exit through the back. If your child is not registered for spiritual exploration, please come with them to fill out the registration form, and then you are welcome to stay with them or return to the service. Both groups will run until approximately 11:15. Children's Chapel will be dismissed from the room that was formerly the preschool room and is located between the vestry and the school street entrance. Adults, please be sure to sign your children out before you leave. Middle schoolers and their adults will reconnect at coffee hour. And if this is your first time joining us, we are so excited to have you join us today. And today, Linda Olson-Peebles will be subbing for Caitlin, our Director of Spiritual Exploration. And we will now sing the children and youth out as they go. Elaine Ball would like to make an announcement about the upcoming new UU class.
Good morning. I'm Elaine Ball, UCM's Congregational Life Coordinator, and I'd like to invite you, not this Wednesday, but the following, October 22nd, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., to a class called UU History and Theology with Reverend Joan. This is part of our New UU series of events this fall, but you're invited even if you're not exactly a new UU and you're just interested in a brush up. You can find more information about UU History and Theology, as well as other New UU events happening this fall, at the welcome table during coffee hour immediately following the service. I especially hope you'll check out the 2 circle suppers coming up in the next couple weeks. These are potlucks at people's homes, and they're a wonderful way to gather together and connect with new and longtime friends. If you'd like to learn more about Unitarian Universalism, our UCM community, and what it means to become an official member here, please join us for UU History and Theology and these other events. Finally, whether you're visiting for the first time or the 100th, welcome, and we're glad to have you here.
During coffee hour today, Fred Small's picture book, Everything Possible, will be available for sale. It's a wonderful gift for children and former children in your life, and Fred will be glad to inscribe your copy. If you're joining us remotely this morning, you can find Everything Possible at your local bookstore or online at nosycrow.us. That's NOSYCROW.us. Further, Reverend Small will be leading a workshop here today at UCM from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock on spiritual support for climate engagement. Youth, teens, and adults are welcome to attend. Next Saturday, October 18th, Unitarian Universalists will join with others to peacefully demonstrate our support for democracy and protest authoritarianism. Anyone who would like to go to the State House rally together can meet Reverend Joan at the School Street entrance at 11:30 a.m. Next Sunday, October 19th, from 11:30 to 1 o'clock, Reverend Joan is conducting a training for facilitators of chalice circles, where folks connect with other members and friends, build relationships, and deepen their Unitarian Universalist faith. There is a need for more facilitators. If you're interested in becoming a facilitator or learning more, please contact Reverend Joan. All these activities and others are in the weekly e-news, which is carefully updated and prepared for its Friday morning publication. It is the best source of information about how you can connect with others and serve our community. Our giving is a spiritual act, and our generosity is a form of love and gratitude that helps us practice Unitarian Universalism in support of our shared values with our collective resources. Charity is central to the well-being of our church community and beyond, as well as primary to our own sense of self. The offering pouches are at the ends of the pews on the side aisles and are be passed toward the center aisle for collection. Each month through the UCM Community Pouch Program, we share part of our collection with an important church fund or a community organization aligned with our values. The October UCM Community Pouch recipient is Friends of the Winooski River, a nonprofit organization founded in 1998 and dedicated to the restoration and protection of the Winooski River and its watershed. Half of our cash offerings will go to our pouch recipient. The other half will directly support the mission and ministry of this congregation. Checks will go to the church unless designated otherwise. We are so thankful for each and every one of you for your generosity in its many forms, and your offering is now greatly received.
I invite you to join in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, Holy One, essence and breath of all that is, take my fear and let it become wonder. Take my grief and let it become compassion. Take my doubt and let it become courage. Take my self-centeredness and let it become love. Take my broken heart and let it become my strength. Amen, and so may it be. In silence, we descend deeper than words, centering down to the ground of being. During the silence, I invite you to pray, or to meditate, or to contemplate ultimate things. The reading is by Joy Harjo, member of the Muskogee Creek Nation and former United States Poet Laureate. Once I traveled far above the earth. This beloved planet we call home was covered with an elastic web of light. I watched in awe as it shimmered, stretched, dimmed, and shined, shaped by the collective effort of all life within it. Dissonance attracted more dissonance, harmony attracted harmony. I saw revolutions, droughts, famines, and the births of new nations. The most humble kindnesses made the brightest lights. Nothing was wasted. I knew a man once who tried to save a tree. It was a magnificent red oak planted in the 19th century through numberless winters and springs and summers and falls. Its roots had penetrated deep into the soil, and its trunk had grown tall and strong. Generations of families and friends and lovers had gathered gratefully in the shade of its broad canopy. And the man loved the tree and held it sacred. But the tree grew close to a building, and one day the owners of the building decreed that the building would be improved and expanded. The tree would have to be cut down, they said. And so the man who loved the tree wrote letters and social media posts to try and change their minds. He organized others and enrolled political leaders in his cause. Save the tree, they cried. The owners were unmoved. It's true, they said, the tree is old and beautiful, but it's actually not in very good health. It's going to die soon anyway. Besides, they said, we have no choice. We've examined every alternative, and none is practical within our budget. The tree must go. Outraged, the man assailed their motives and their integrity. His letters and posts grew more acerbic and sarcastic. At last, his belligerence and ill temper drove away even people who also cared about the tree and might have helped to save it. And so the tree was cut down. And all who saw its severed limbs couldn't help noticing how healthy they looked. And the man cursed the owners for their stupidity and short-sightedness. This good man who loved trees so profoundly and so passionately had not learned from them. His feverish, frenetic activism was nothing at all like a tree. He championed the sacredness of trees while neglecting the sacredness of human beings, including his own. He knew the worth of trees, but not the peace of trees. Don't we all make the same mistake, at least some of the time? More than half a century ago, the Trappist monk and peace activist Thomas Merton warned, there is a pervasive form of contemporary violence to which the idealist most easily succumbs: activism and overwork. The rush and pressure of modern life are a form, perhaps the most common form, of its innate violence. To allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone in everything, is to succumb to violence, Merton said. The frenzy of our activism neutralizes our work for peace. It destroys our own inner capacity for peace. It destroys the fruitfulness of our own work because it kills the root of inner wisdom, which makes work fruitful. The frenzy of our activism destroys our inner capacity for peace and the fruitfulness of our work. So actually, Thomas Merton was lucky. He died before Twitter. Twitter, now technically X, Twitter, that twilight zone of snark, contempt, occasional inspiration, and permanent outrage, where I, for one, have wasted far too much of my time. It's easy to be punitive and make others disposable. Caution Tom DeWolf and Jody Geddes in The Little Book of Racial Healing. The difficult task, they say, is in telling the truth in ways that seek healing and transformation. We are beset today by a host of daunting challenges, all of them urgent and interconnected, many seemingly intractable, from patriarchy to white supremacy, from public corruption to secret abuse, from anti-Semitism to Islamophobia to transphobia, from gun violence to armed insurrection to all-out war, from mass incarceration to mass extinction. It is natural for us to feel grief, anger, fear, and despair. I am a climate justice activist. Despair is my constant companion. By now, it's almost an old friend. It seems every new report coming from the scientists is even more alarming than the last. As Lily Tomlin once observed, things are going to get worse before they get worse. The New York Times has reported that the Environmental Protection Agency is planning to eliminate all limits on greenhouse gases from coal and gas-fired power plants. The new EPA administrator, appointed by President Trump, has promised to, quote, drive a dagger straight into the heart of the climate change religion. But whoever is in the White House, whoever controls Congress, in this political system, in this economy, in this culture, the chasm between what climate science demands and what our politics permits is likely to persist for a long time. The realization that it's too late to prevent significant global warming, too late even to prevent vast suffering, has had a surprising effect on me. Instead of making me more anxious and agitated, somehow it has calmed and steadied me. For decades, as a climate activist, I felt like I was in a rowboat above a thundering waterfall, rowing frantically to keep from going over the falls. Well, the boat is going over the falls. We are plummeting, tumbling, crashing into the unknown at vertiginous speed, and yet somehow at the same time in slow motion. Terrible things are happening. Terrible things will happen. Millions will suffer and die, with the worst impacts upon those least responsible for the problem, people of color and people living in poverty all around the world. But it is never too late to save the next life, or the next community, or the next species. It is never too late to feed the hungry or welcome the stranger. It is never too late to do the next right thing. I vow to do all I can to reduce the suffering, to tend to the wounded, and to build a more just world. But since I believe it is too late to head off catastrophe, I am resolved to do these things mindfully, with love and compassion and tenderness and generosity of spirit. Because given the certainty of suffering, the how of what we do is as important as the what, or even the when. As we plunge headlong into the maelstrom, even more important than the question, what am I going to do, is the question, who am I going to be? Our climate future is not binary. Everything's going to be wonderful. No, everything's going to be terrible. Ecotopia, dystopia. The future will almost certainly have elements of both. And where the balance between them falls will depend upon an infinite number of choices. My choices and your choices and the choices of our children and their children and their children. We don't know what's gonna happen. I hope that the human species survives the crisis we have created. But whether or not we do, we know that life on Earth has already survived 5 major extinctions. Life will endure, and intelligent life will continue to evolve with luck and the grace of God, not only smarter, but also wiser, kinder, more compassionate. As we confront this crisis, Potawatomi botanist Robin Wall Kimmerer reminds us we don't have to figure out everything by ourselves. There are intelligences other than our own, teachers all around us. If we understood that, imagine how less lonely the world would be. So, as we struggle to save our trees, what can we learn from them? First of all, hydrate. We can also learn patience. When we're in mortal danger, patience can be hard to cultivate. Trees can help us. Trees take the long view. They have to. Many live hundreds, even thousands of years. Longevity counsels patience. By patience, explains Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron, we do not mean enduring, grin and bear it in any situation. Instead of reacting suddenly, we could chew it, smell it, look at it, and open ourselves to seeing what's there. The journey of patience, Chodron says, involves relaxing, opening to what's happening, experiencing a sense of wonder. To be patient means to slow down. On an exposed cliffside in the Canadian Great Lakes, there's a white cedar that has taken 155 years to reach the towering height of 4 inches. That's taking it slow. Even when a tree is under threat, it responds slowly. When a caterpillar begins to chew on an oak leaf, it can take an hour before defensive compounds reach the leaf to repel the pest. The hectic pace of humans takes a toll on our activism and our relationships and our souls. We can be peaceful in our fervor, insists Charles Eisenstein, and patient in our urgency. You know, if your religion doesn't embrace paradox, maybe it's time to find a new religion. In a society hyped up on hyper-individualism, trees remind us of the interdependence of all beings. Far from the solitary as they may appear, trees are deeply embedded and active in a community of interconnection, which forest ecologists sometimes playfully call the wood wide web. Whether by interlacing root systems, fungal networks, or release of chemical scents, trees warn each other of harmful insects and other threats. They can even share nutrients with each other. According to ecologist and Tsimshian native Dr. Teresa Ryan, when a tree in a warming forest dies, it donates its carbon not to its own offspring or even to others of the same species, but to the newest arrivals in the forest, those most likely to survive as temperatures increase. A bequest of generosity akin to altruism. Trees model for us the power of commitment, of choosing to be rooted in one place. When a seed takes root, it makes a lifelong commitment to that spot. There it must adapt or die. Now, our commitments need not be absolute, but they call us to strive and to struggle, to honor our relationships, our communities, and our principles. Commitment demands persistence. Trees persist through high winds, torrential rains, heavy snowstorms that bend their branches, and ice storms that break them. If you've ever seen a tree clinging to seemingly naked rock, its root tips stretching to every particle of soil, sucking in the tiniest droplet of moisture, you know what persistence looks like. And trees teach us to live with loss. Every fall, deciduous trees surrender their leaves to the forest floor, enriching the soil not only for themselves, but for all who share their ecosystem. And trees endure the deaths of their companions, from wind, fire, storm, disease, logging, and old age. Trees embody the perfection of imperfection. Admiring an old maple in Connecticut one time, I was struck by its sinuous beauty. Looking more deeply, I realized its beauty lay precisely in its irregularity, its imperfection. Had it been perfectly straight, perfectly uniform, perfectly symmetrical, it would have been grotesque. Only human beings make things that way. God knows better. Maybe I too could accept my imperfections as a mark of beauty. We teach what we most need to learn. When I spend time with trees, I sense their humility, kindness, and love. I used to think it was anthropomorphic to ascribe human attributes to non-human beings, but I no longer think that way. Actually, I think it's I think it's anthropocentric to think that way. We are all sentient beings. We know that plants feel pain and distress. Why shouldn't trees in their own way feel love? If you doubt that, I invite you to spend more time with trees, touching their bark, gazing up at their leaves, and just listening. Trees have been among my wisest and most reliable teachers. As a child, Howard Thurman, who would grow up to become one of the great preachers of the 20th century and a spiritual advisor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As a child, he discovered a unique relationship with an oak tree in his backyard in Daytona Beach, Florida. I could sit my back against its trunk, he remembered, and reach down into the quiet places of my spirit, take out my bruises and my joys, unfold them, and talk about them. I could talk aloud to the oak tree and know that I was understood. It too was part of my reality, like the woods, the night, and the pounding surf, my earliest companions, giving me space. Today we need love more than ever. Climate and racial justice advocate Mary Anais Hegler confesses that love is what keeps her going. I don't mean any simple, sappy kind of love, she declares. I mean living, breathing, heart-beating love, wild love. This love is not a noun. She is an action verb. She can shoot stars into the sky. She can spark a movement. She can sustain a revolution. I love this beautiful, mysterious, complicated planet we get to call home. I love that nighttime symphony on steamy southern nights when the frogs croak and the crickets sing and the owls hunt. I love the delicate feel of honeysuckle petals and the warm, grainy earth and dewy grass on my bare feet. This love is strong enough to break through the terror. She is hot enough to burn through anger and turn into fury. She can shake you out of your despair and propel you to the front of the battlefield. It's a love that can also, even in the teeth of these most insurmountable odds, give me hope. If I'm brave enough to accept it. As for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. Love never ends. I'll let the trees have the last word. With the assistance of their friend and interpreter, the late poet Mary Oliver. Now, technically, Unitarian Universalists don't have saints. But if we did, I expect Mary Oliver would be right up there. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. Amen. And so may it be. Ain't you got a right? Ain't you got a right? Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Please rise in body or in spirit. Sing this song with me. Written by Guy Carawan, inspired by the spirituality of the Carolina Sea Islands. Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Ain't you got a right? Ain't you got a right? Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Ain't you got a right? 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 Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Same tune, so rocky the road. So rocky the road, so dangerous the journey. So dangerous the journey, but we got a right. But we got a right. Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Ain't you got a right? 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 Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? We come from a distance. We come from a distance. We come from a distance, and we got a right. And we got a right. Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Ain't you got a right? 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 Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Our lives will be sweeter. Our lives will be sweeter. Our lives will be sweeter, 'cause we got a right. Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Ain't you got a right? 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 Ain't you got a right to the tree of life? Now, before the pandemic, last time through, I'd always invite people to join hands. But, you know, are we post-pandemic? I have no idea. But I do know that there are plenty of reasons you might not want to join hands with the person next to you. So your body, your choice. If you don't want to join hands with the person next to you, even if some hand-holding zealot runs up to you and sticks out their hand and says, "Come on," you can say, "No, thank you. I do not wish to hold hands this morning." Now that we've got that all said, if you feel comfortable, and only if you feel comfortable joining hands with the person next to you, now is the time to do so. maybe you slept with them last night, so it's not an issue of contagion, right? Okay, so let's sing the song through one last time. Ain't you got a right, 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 ain't you got a right to the tree of life. Ain't you got a right, 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 ain't you got a right to the tree of life. Amen, and so may it be.
As we draw our service to a close, we extinguish the chalice and carry within each of us its healing flame, the warmth of community, and the spark of hope into the days and weeks ahead. Please join in unison for our mission statement. We welcome all as we build a loving community to nurture each person's spiritual journey, serve human need, and protect the earth, our home.
Let go of the place that holds. Let go of the place that flinches. Let go of the place that controls. Let go of the place that fears. Listen, the wind is breathing in the trees, moving in the dark night. I practice courage, accepting the vastness of what I cannot see. Amen, and so may it be.
My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weaving of time without end. My sight